No, last hour we talked about our backlog. We've been talking about games. I do want to make a slight shift, and I want to talk about consoles because a lot of things have been happening in the actual console space in 2024. And I do want to start with Xbox, right? Because one of the most recent things that we got confirmation on was a long-standing rumor that Xbox will finally give us that Xbox handheld that so many people have wanted. I know personally myself, seeing what Xbox is doing with their games and going pseudo third party in a lot of ways, with the no red light thing, which we'll talk about. But having that Xbox handheld, I think is really awesome. Ryan, I want to start with you. Phil Spencer did come out and say, "Hey, the handheld is a couple of years away. That could mean 2026. It could mean 2027. But your thoughts on us finally getting that Xbox handheld that so many of us wanted for a long time?"
Well, number one, I'm excited about it because I that will fill in that will add to my gaming time because
Mhm.
right now, if I'm away from my console, away from my PC, I'm not gaming. And I know that I've got Game Pass Ultimate and I can do the cloud streaming stuff. Maybe I'm just old, but that just doesn't appeal to me. I just don't really want to play that way. I want to play on a native proper gaming device. So this handheld, whenever it comes around, and I'm sure we'll talk about this because I am surprised that it's as far out as it is. I thought it was going to be much closer on the horizon. That's what I was trying to say. Sorry, it's Saturday. My brain doesn't work on weekends, but uh, yeah, I am thrilled about this because it is just going to be purely additive to my gaming time. And it's going to allow me to dip into Game Pass more, get through my backlog more effectively, like you guys were talking about last hour. And so, yeah, I don't even really care how much it costs because it's going to do something for me that it's going to fill a gaming need for me. And so, unless it's insane, unless it's like $1,000, then I'm in. Like, you don't even really have to tell me what the specs are, what the price is. I'm pretty much in automatically with some limits, but yeah, I'm really excited about the prospect of this.
It may just be me, but I need it to be somewhere around where the Xbox Series X is.
Yeah.
As far as fidelity and stuff like that. Does that really matter to you, Ryan?
It does. I mean, I bought a Steam Deck at launch, and I'll be honest with you, I ended up selling it. It mostly sat around. I didn't end up traveling with it nearly as much as I thought I would,
Mhm.
mostly because it's huge.
And it's
Which brings
heavy.
I
Ugh.
knew going in, like, I'm not trying to blame anybody but myself here, but I just found that it's just a massive, and I know that it's Valve didn't like want to make it that size. I'm sure they just had to. That was to hit the specs they wanted and the price points they wanted, and that was the size it had to be. So I think the silver lining for me, or at least one of them, there are a couple, but the main one in terms of having to wait 2-3 years for this thing, according to Phil, is that it'll allow a couple generations to go by in terms of like what the Steam Deck's doing, what the ROG Ally is doing, and hopefully Microsoft will. It'll be interesting to see the choice they make of, are they going to stay in that larger form factor and aim for more power, or are they going to do a little less power but shrink the thing down? Because I don't. They're probably not. I'm not a hardware expert, but they're probably not going to be able to do both. You know, it's
Mhm.
that each one comes with trade-offs, but I do think that that's the silver lining of waiting. And I know I could buy a ROG Ally right now before anybody comments in the chat, but I kind of want I just want an official like Xbox device. Nothing against the ROG Ally, but yeah, I'm curious where this thing will land in terms of the size and the form factor. But yeah, I think you're right in terms of the horsepower. I mean, it's going to arrive almost certainly in Xbox's next generation because
Yeah.
I just don't think the Series X/Series S is going to continue for 3 more years. I think it's going to be 2 at the most. Just the way that Microsoft is kind of tracking with this stuff and how they're doing. They're taking more of a PC approach, more of a smartphone approach of just we have various devices at different price points and different horsepower levels. So yeah, I think Series X power is a reasonable expectation. Now the resolution is probably going to be a lot lower, and that's fine because on a
Yeah.
8-inch
And a
screen,
smaller screen.
you don't need 4K. It'd be a total waste to put 4K on an 8-inch screen. So they can lower the power that way and still deliver the same effective performance as a Series X. But yeah, that I think that's a reasonable expectation on your part.
Does the Xbox handheld do anything for you? As someone who likes to buy stuff and not open it, does that Xbox handheld do anything for you?
I mean, like, are they gonna do cool customizations for it? Am I
Maybe
gonna get a
not.
Black Panther one? Am I gonna get a Barbie one?
To
Then
get to
maybe.
win, maybe.
I mean, honestly, if it's not heavy, I'll try it out because this is like one of my gamer shames. I bought the Steam Deck. I did the opening of it. I posted a video of it, and I've not turned it on or played it since. Because when I picked it up, it was just so heavy. So I immediately went back to playing like my Switch. So I think if it's something that's like easy to carry around, something I don't mind traveling with, then I think that would be perfect. Like basically like bouncing off of what Ryan said, I think it fulfills a need. And I don't mind having some I honestly think going mobile is the smartest thing to do. Especially when you're not just thinking about Western countries and you're thinking about Eastern countries where they don't have the same kind of space. Um, a lot of gaming that they do is on mobile, unless they go to like a gaming cafe, which is still very popular over there. I think this is an easy access point in, as well as like Game Pass. I think this is very smart for them. So yeah, I might get it if I could get a Black Panther one. Denzel Washington's supposed to be in the new one. That's all I'm gonna say. I'm done.
Oh yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited about that. One of his actually
Mm.
films before he retires, which I might take off work that day. But Nug, I
Oh,
want to ask you,
absolutely.
right? Because
Hmm?
are you shocked at all that we possibly are going to get an Xbox handheld before we get a new Vita? I know PlayStation has the Portal. I know it has the Portal, but I do not count that because of what it really is.
No,
Are
no,
you
no,
shocked at all we're getting an Xbox handheld before we get a new Vita?
no. Look, here's the thing: as great as we all remember the PSP and the PS Vita, it's all nostalgia, right? And I say
Yeah.
this as somebody who is working in video game store and retail. People come in, they get these old things, and they realize, it's not as cool as I once remember. And so a lot of people crapped on the Portal at first because it wasn't the PSP, but now the Portal is starting to kick up in hype and popularity because people are realizing, you know what? I'm actually around Wi-Fi a lot more than I think. So I think that based off what I've seen with this Xbox handheld, they would be smart. I'm gonna switch it up here. Maybe not to go towards that ROG Ally route or that Steam Deck route and start getting a little bit closer to that Portal route because it cuts the price in
Really?
half. Yeah, well, so for me, I like my Portal. I take it everywhere with me. I find that remote play is much better than the cloud gaming. The cloud gaming experience on the iPad and the phone is really laggy, but that remote play is tethered to my PS5. So as long as I have solid connection, I'm able to game. If Microsoft can find a way to kind of get in the middle, you still have some power with like Steam Deck. Maybe you can download the games to play them offline. So it's not fully Wi Fi, but it's also doing some remote play kind of stuff. They can really knock it out the park with this.
That's interesting because I'm be honest, I would be so disappointed if it was a Portal like device. Like
What?
I want it to be an Xbox console on the go.
Well,
Well,
I can lend some reassurance here because Phil Spencer's last big comment on handheld was back at IGN's IGN Live event that we put together down in LA. It was right after the Xbox showcase. I had Phil on and I interviewed him live. There were a bunch of IGN fans in the room, and that was my last question for Phil. I snuck it in, and I was actually surprised at how candid he was. He all but confirmed. I mean, it's kind of that Phil speak where you have to like learn to translate Phil speak into like proper gamer English. But he basically confirmed that they are doing a handheld. And then my last question, my follow up was, well, would it be a cloud based thing or would it be a native like on device thing? And you can go back and find the video, but he basically says, paraphrasing, that no, it would be an on-device handheld if we do that. So yeah, they're not doing a cloud thing.
That makes me happy because I'm willing to pay that money. Go ahead, Nug.
If you're so, I think if they do that, it's going to be close to that $1,000 price range. Because at least for me, with the Steam Deck and ROG Ally, those they have an issue playing AAA titles. Those bigger games, those games that I really want to play on the go, they have issues with that. So if they do it as that type of console, I would prefer that you go ahead and go full out, but it's going to be through the roof as far as pricing. I'm wondering how they're going to be able to get us to play any game that we want to play in handheld form for a budget friendly price. That would be my concern.
But you got to remember, if this is 2-3 years away, things are going to advance a lot. Prices are going to come down.
Oh yeah.
And, it'll be more realistic than you think it is, I think.
Okay. But I'm all
I
in.
mean,
I
I
think
think
technology
you make a
is-
valid point.
But I think technology is, I think they say that it updates every 6 months. It may be less than that. So like in 2-3 years, we have no idea where we're going to be when it comes to that.
Very true. Very true. I'm all in though. I'm with y'all. I'm all in because I currently don't play much on Xbox because I can't play it away from the house. I'm getting it either on Steam or PlayStation if I can get a review copy because I can play it multiple places.
Hugs, I'm gonna switch it over. I know you are a resident, like PC is your thing, right? But you love Game Pass, and this is would you be interested in this at all? At least for the Xbox Game Pass, non-streaming on the go.
Like Des says, if there's customization, probably, but it is not enticing enough for me right now to be like, yeah. But if I can like get that Barbie or put some skins on it,
Y'all are really
Okay.
not
design it in the design
Y'all-
lab.
Yo, the moment that
want it
they
to
put
be
those
mine.
out, yeah, I want to be able to customize it. Like you can customize your PC. Why can't I customize my Xbox?
If I'm
fair.
spending that amount of money on something, I want it to look like mine. I want it to be mine. You know?
That's
I
actually
get
valid.
that. I think Xbox is done with themed consoles.
I don't think
I think-
so.
I'm a
I don't think so at
done with
all.
consoles. I've been telling you. Xbox
I
is
think they're done with
consoles.
consoles. We've been saying this for. I've literally been
Well,
saying
the
this for a
handheld
while.
is the handheld a console. Is the handheld a console?
Absolutely.
Yeah, it is.
They're not done
But I
with
think
consoles.
it's different. I think it's different than having a console that you plug in at home and you can't take with you, right? Like they're
Yeah.
still customizing controllers. So I don't think that they're done with customization completely. I think this could open
Ryan,
up a whole new gateway to customization.
You believe in that at all, Ryan? Because I mean, Microsoft just came out with a new campaign, which some people love, some people dislike. That this is an Xbox. This is an Xbox. Like everything is an Xbox now. You believe in the they might be done at least making high end hardware anymore?
No, not at all. I mean, Phil just put out a quote. I forget which. Phil was on a little kind of press tour here over the last week or two. I'm not quite sure what the. I guess maybe it was in support of this marketing campaign, but yeah, one of those quotes from one of those interviews was, "Yeah, we're absolutely not done making hardware." I mean, I think are we inevitably moving to a complete cloud-based, like just plug in a USB stick to your
Yes.
TV and then have your controller? Yeah, I mean, that's not a new idea. I think we've kind of all seen the writing on the wall for that for going back to last generation, that's probably the end game for all of this. But yeah, I don't think we're there yet. Not with the horsepower that these consoles are putting out. And they're like the PS5 is still enormous. And the Series X, while smaller, is like it's very dense. It's like a 10-pound. It's we're not going to be cloudifying that kind of horsepower on a mass scale quite yet. So I do think we've got at least one more round of proper hardware. Not to say that won't be supplemented by cloud stuff. It already kind of is. But I don't think we're done with the set-top boxes quite yet.
I gave it 5 years.
Okay.
I have a.
And I just want to come back to this whenever we do our podcast and like in 5 years we're still on it. Because you're always like, man, you said that. I want you to, in 5 years, I want you to be able to say, Destiny, you said that 5 years. I give it 5 to 6 years. That's it.
I have a
Oh,
small and very unlikely theory that when we get to that point, we're going to get a Samsung device powered by Xbox,
Okay.
Lenovo device powered by. Like I could see with Xbox being everything, right? And I think I might have said this. Did I say this last year? Like I could see Xbox becoming Android. You have a
Yeah,
Samsung device,
Yeah,
but it's
Yeah,
running Android. You know,
that's
gaming is
solid.
a medium that that's never going away. It is the number one medium in the world, in my opinion. I could definitely see a world to where we're getting the software on different hardware.
I I hear y'all, but I feel like as a gamer nerd in 2024 going into 2025, I want hardware now. I want something I could put my hands on, and I think a lot of people share that sentiment. Like we want new Xbox hardware. They did do the refresh of the Series S and the Series X, and I like that they're
hmm
talking about the future. But what about the short term? What about even though the PS5 Pro I'm not a huge fan of, they gave us some extra hardware to kind of sink our teeth into, and I would like for Xbox to kind of do the same. That's just me. I like having things to kind of get around with.
that's fair. When I think about the general consumer and just where we're at with money, just realistically, I think they have to take that into account too. I just don't think a lot of these places within the next like 2 to 3 years are going to be pushing a ton of hardware, just because it's people can't afford it now, so that's why I think the Fire Stick has blown up so much. And I mean, they've been talking about making it an easier entry point into gaming, and the Fire Stick has done that at a lower cost, and is still making them tons of money because people are getting Game Pass, so I do think this is a transitionary period where we're going to see a lot of changes. That's not to say they're going to get rid of all hardware, but I do think it's going to, like, the bulk of it is going to come down a bit.
That's fair.
wonder if the handheld, since it's a 2 3 years out, if the handheld might end up occupying the space that the Series S does now. Like if it
Ooh.
might actually basically be a Switch, assuming Nintendo doesn't have any sort of weird patents on that. I mean, I guess they don't,
Yeah.
because you can plug a Steam Deck into a TV.
Yeah.
So yeah, I wonder if that could be a thing where
That
the handheld kind of is the entry point hardware
I would
wise
like that.
into
Yeah.
the next generation of Xbox, and then there's still a high end 5, 6, 700. I mean, let's be honest, it's going to be $700. That's the floor
Oh
now,
yeah.
thanks to the PS5 Pro and what it's up to. So I could see that being something that comes to fruition in the next couple of years.
So
That
I want to ask the panel because we're talking about everything that happened this year. We're celebrating, and there's a subsection of gamers who are really celebrating because even though these games have been out for a very long time, there's a subsection of gamers who haven't played games like Halo, haven't played Gears, haven't played Forza, and they are celebrating now because it seems as if that those four games that Phil and Sarah talked about are no longer four games, and there's no red line and possibilities when it comes to Xbox games going to PlayStation, right? So there are a lot of PlayStation gamers who are so dedicated to their hardware that they haven't bought anything else. They are really excited at the possibility of being able to play pretty much all Xbox games at some point on their PlayStation. This marks, even though we all kind of saw this coming, I think this marks a big transition into the what we're used to of the big three and everyone kind of just standing guard and there not being any type of crossover. This sort of muddies the waters a little bit, and it kind of like, hey man, it doesn't really matter where you want to play. You can play these games. Nug, I do want to start with you. There's this red line thing, which I think we heard this a while back. I believe it was either on IGN or Windows Central. I can't remember which one what I read it from first about. Hey, this red line thing. The phrase first started right, and it's like there is no red line. Nug, I want to start with you. So should the PlayStation gamers really be super excited because to me, seeing Halo on a PlayStation is like seeing Mario on the Xbox. It's weird,
right, right.
but it's cool for a lot of people. Your thoughts, Nug?
I think that I think there needs to be a balance, right? I think that some games it's good to have them on both platforms, but I still believe that competition breeds innovation, right? So I think that there needs to be some things that each side have exclusive to one another to that way they can kind of still compete, because I think if we start meshing everything together, it becomes more of a monopoly type of situation to where what's the point of why would you pick Xbox or PlayStation if they all have the exact same games? Unless you just have like a hardcore, you know, I guess hardcore love of a controller or something. But I think maybe like your smaller titles, like your MLB The Shows, maybe your Forzas, maybe your Halos, you put those on both, and like you have like your Spider-Mans, your Fables, or who knows, maybe your Call of Duty in 10 years on each side. And because at some point you're gonna have to say, how are we gonna make money, right? What's our
Yeah.
selling point? Why am I gonna buy into these consoles or these services if there's nothing on the other side for us to go with? Why would I choose Xbox over PlayStation if you're telling me that, well, everything you can do here, you can do there? So it's really weird. And I know that sounds like not really consumer friendly, but to a point, if we still want games, you have to get some money in it.
Mm.
Uh-oh. Des. You see?
No, no, uh-oh. No, uh-oh. I respectfully disagree. But I think it's because I come back from an era where there used to be the same game on different consoles, just slight differences. Like I come from an era where like The Lion
Mortal
King was
Kombat.
on every console, right? And it just had slight
He said back
differences.
in
But
my day.
I'm just saying, and I think the competition is changing in a way to where it's not just AAA against AAA companies, it's like AAA against indies as well, right? Um, so I think they need to think about things differently. I don't know where that's going to go necessarily, but I think the consumer will always buy the games. And that's why I do think that like Xbox and Microsoft are being really smart about where they're going as they're like, in my opinion, pulling away from like having like all of this hardware focus and moving their games onto places where people have easy access to them wherever they're at. Um, I think that's really smart, just business wise. I don't ever think it'll be like a monopoly because, PlayStation will have its specific games that'll probably have exclusivity for a month or two, and people will buy those. And Nintendo will always have its games that they keep on Nintendo. But I do think that like there is a place where we can have these games on different consoles and it'll be fine because we did it before. We did it when games first came out and it wasn't such a big deal. I think the community has made it a big deal.
Well, when you said before, when before and what games are we talking about? Because there are some games that have always been exclusive with each like
So I
Xbox
think there have
product.
been characters and icons and mascots that have always been exclusive. Like Sonic has always been Sega. Mario has
Right.
always been Nintendo. But back in the day when you would have games that when everybody was trying to get into the gaming, right? You'd have like, let's say an IP. For example, Barbie has literally had games on every platform since they started making games. Okay. Let's say Looney Tunes. They're an IP who have literally had games on every system. Mascots are iconic and they are locked to whatever they're doing because they're the mascot of that, right? But you have so many other games, so many other IPs out here. We're making games based off movies, we're making games based off comics, and they're not locked to Sega and they're or locked to PlayStation or locked to Nintendo. So I don't see an issue with them being on different platforms for people to play.
Okay.
Um, that's kind of what I was saying. If
So
that makes
you're
sense. I
you're
hope that makes
you're saying
sense.
like the mascots are still should be locked, but the other things should be more loose.
I'm not saying they should be. I'm just saying that's the way it's been. Like the mascots
Mm,
have been locked to specific things, but the games themselves have been in other things. For example, Kingdom Hearts. You had
okay.
Disney crossovers in Kingdom Hearts. You had, you know what I mean? And Kingdom Hearts was available on multiple platforms.
Okay.
So that's what I mean. It's always been like Mario's always been on Nintendo because those two things are interchangeable. When you think of Mario, you think of Nintendo. When you think of Nintendo, you think of Mario. Same with Sonic. When you think of Sega, you think of Sonic. When you think of Sonic, you think of Sega.
I
But
think
when
of
you think
Xbox.
of
When
Madden,
you think of, I was about to say, when you think of Xbox, you think of Halo.
but I don't play Halo like that. So I don't think of Halo when I think of
Mm,
Xbox.
Mhm.
okay.
So I'm talking about the general consumer. When you guys are talking, you're talking about the hardcore gamers. The general
Mm.
consumer is not thinking the same way that we're thinking when we talk about video games, which is why having the Fire Stick and giving people access to like an entry point, they're doing it for the general consumer, not for the hard. They already have you guys.
True. True.
Mhm.
They have us.
Ryan, I do want to switch down over to you. Is it a true cause for celebration? Should PlayStation gamers really be excited? Is this no red line thing? Is this in your heart of hearts? You believe Master Chief may someday make his way over to blue team
Yeah.
for the Halo fans out there?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I talked about this on Podcast Unlocked, but I think this part of this sort of studio rebranding from 343 Industries to Halo Studios, they've changed leadership. You know, Bonnie Ross stepped aside a year or so ago. They've got new leadership there. They're hiring a lot of new talent. Like, they were effectively rebooting that studio. And Halo Infinite was supposed to be a platform, which they would build other Halo stuff on top of.
Mhm.
That's all, as far as we can tell, and this isn't like me reporting anything, but like that, my guess is that's all out the window. And I think, they're switching to Unreal Engine 5 because the tools are just too much of a pain in the ass with slip space. And Unreal Engine 5 is a super potent engine that a ton of talent in the industry knows how to work with. So I think the next Halo is one of two things. The next Halo, and by the way, the next Halo won't be for a long time because they're still hiring. We're a ways out, like probably 4 or 5 years. But the next Halo is probably, this is where I would bet my money. Like, if you listen to Podcast Unlocked, I like to make In-N-Out burger bets because it means win or lose. If I have to buy the In-N-Out, or if somebody's buying it for me, I get to eat In-N-Out. So it makes me happy. So one of two things is going to be what the next Halo is. It's either going to be a reboot of the series, which I know a lot of Halo fans, they get their hackles up about that because it's like, well, we've got 20 years of canon. We can't do that. Yes, we absolutely can. Because if we're starting over on multiple platforms, we're trying to welcome in PlayStation fans, we can absolutely reboot it. Especially when the story, like, I've played every Halo game. I love Halo a lot. The story's gotten pretty convoluted. Like, they tried to walk it back and reset it a little bit with Infinite. But if you were to try to jump in, if Infinite magically got ported to PS5 tomorrow, there would be no... It's not that they wouldn't enjoy the game on PlayStation, but PlayStation gamers would kind of just be like, what's going on in this universe? What is happening?
Yeah.
So a reboot makes perfect sense. The other way they could do it, I think it's going to be either the reboot or an Unreal Engine 5 remake of Halo 1. And they'll sort of start over there. And then where they would go from there, I don't know. Whether they also remake Halo 2 and Halo 3 and just do it that. I don't know. That feels a little lazy to me creatively. But I don't know how they'll go. But I do think it's going to be... I don't think we're getting Halo 7, a.k.a. Halo Infinite 2. I do not think the next Halo is going to be that. We know how troubled Halo Infinite's development was. It turned out great in the end, to the credit of Joseph Staten and the team that shipped that game at 343. I reviewed the campaign for IGN, and I gave it a 9, and I stand by that. I think it's a fantastic Halo campaign, a nice redemption from the absolute disaster campaign that Halo 5 was. Infinite was excellent. The multiplayer on Infinite's great. It's had its ups and downs in terms of trying to find its footing as a free standalone live service multiplayer game. But I just think with this switch to Unreal 5, the rebranding of the studio, that the next Halo, whatever it is absolutely coming to PS5 or PS6, whatever's out at the time. It's coming to PlayStation, particularly when Phil's already said there are no red lines. Like, I also think, by the way, that's why we're not getting Gears 6 that picks up the cliffhanger from Gears 5 and finishes Kate's story. That's why we're getting a prequel with Dom and Marcus coming back, is because it's going to be on PlayStation. And you don't want to throw PlayStation gamers into Gears 6 when they'll have no freaking idea what's going on. No, you start them in the very beginning with E-Day. So I think the writing is all on the wall for this stuff. and fans aren't going to like it. Some of them aren't going to like it. But games are getting more expensive to make. They're taking longer to make. Gen Alpha does not give a shit about tribalism. They don't care. They are not like, I'm PlayStation for life. That's not who this generation is.
Yeah.
I have a 13-year-old daughter. She's got a Switch. She plays on phone and iPad and my, like, they want to play, like, look at Fortnite, look at Minecraft. They would just want to play their game on whatever
Wherever they
device,
can play it. Yes.
right, is most convenient to them. If it's their phone right in front of them, cool. If it's a computer, laptop, great. If it's a console in front of the TV at home, great. So this idea that well, I'm a 40-something, not everybody here is, but the idea that my generation is hanging on to of this tribalism, it's just not the future. And
Exactly.
and it's now Sony, for any of the Sony fanboys listening, y'all won. Like, Phil Spencer even said it a while back. He said, we lost the most important generation, which was the last one, PS4 and Xbox One, because that's when everybody got entrenched in their digital ecosystems.
Library.
Yeah.
And so it's over. And we've seen that for the first 4 years, because these PS5 and Series X just turned 4 this past week. Xbox isn't gaining any ground. They're gaining 0 ground. Even though the console's selling pretty well, PlayStation 5's selling great, but the console market's not growing. Games are getting more expensive. The next generation of gamers doesn't care about where they play. This strategy for Microsoft, they have waved the white flag. Like, it's congrats, Sony. You guys won.
Yeah.
And Sony's gonna, clearly, we've just seen from Sony's actions, they're gonna try and hang on to this old model as long as they can. But even you can see it happening in real time. They're shipping things on PC later, but then, like, Helldivers 2, day and date. Now, that's not a, like, internally owned PlayStation Studios game like a God of War is, but that game wouldn't have been half as successful. It's
If
one of
it
the
didn't
biggest
launch
games of
on
the year
PC
if
first.
it did not ship day and date simultaneously on PC. The fact that it was PC and PlayStation, you needed both of those things for that game to be as big as it was this year, and continues to be a big game. So Microsoft they have walked off the battlefield, acknowledged the defeat, and they're saying, okay, what makes sense for us? And I think that PlayStation will eventually have to follow them. Now, you can almost, and I'm going to shut up in a second because I know I'm going on like a huge monologue.
No.
But like, you can kind of look at the two companies almost philosophically, in the sense that Sony is a hardware company, right? They're a consumer electronics company. Their DNA is building hardware, things you can buy, devices. Microsoft's DNA is software. And they're both kind of leaning into that right now, just in this weird, like, their visions of the future are each sort of reflected by that DNA of Sony is clinging to, we make cool devices and make things for those devices. That's why they ship the PS5 Pro. Like, we're a hardware company. We're making this cool new PlayStation that's more powerful. And Microsoft said, we're a software company, so we paid $69 billion for Activision Blizzard, and we're just going to put our games everywhere. And if you want to pay $70 full boat retail price for Call of Duty or Halo 7, or, you know, the Halo reboot, or Gears of War E-Day on PlayStation, cool, we'll take your money. That's great. We're happy that you spend money on it. But if you do want to play on a PC or one of our hardware devices that we're still going to make, and you sign up, you want to pay us $20 a month for Game Pass Ultimate and get it day one, we're thrilled with that too, because we're a software company and we're building software and services. So it's these two different visions of the future. And again, Microsoft lost, but I think the next chapter of gaming history, I genuinely believe that Microsoft is on the right track. And this, like, Microsoft's made big bets before. Like, remember, the original Xbox had a hard drive in it, which at the time was like, what? Why? And it also had an Ethernet port in the back, because they had laid out their intention to create a broadband-only online gaming service in the days when dial-up was still king. People are like, what? Nobody even has broadband. You're going to build a broadband-only gaming service? That's insane. Well, those bets paid off, and now everything, every gaming console has hard drives. Every gaming console has Ethernet ports and broadband online services, and they might be right about this too. They might be right about it. End of rant.
I think they are.
That was a lot.
No, that was a really good rant because I feel like everything you said is things that I have been saying. Like I agree with everything that you just said. And for like I said, for the people who are stuck on like hardware, this is no hate, but like the new generations don't care about that. And Xbox and PlayStation already have you. So they're looking to the next generation, and the next generation does not care if they have an Xbox if they can play it on their TV or their tablet or their PC. And that's really just the way it is.
No, I want to switch over to you because Ryan did bring up, he brought the PS5, right? The PS5 Pro, which was our only big console release for 2024. So I got to ask you, because I didn't get the PS5 Pro. I am happy with my PS5. I don't quite see a need for myself to get a PS5 Pro. So I got to ask you, did you get a PS5 Pro, number one? And number two, your thoughts on that $700 price tag? Because to date, you guys correct me if I'm wrong, is that not the most expensive? Well, how much was the PS3 when it originally was announced?
$6.
Was it $6? Right?
$599 US dollars, if you'll remember the name.
Yes. So PS5 Pro is now the most expensive console we've ever seen. Do you?
Are we taking into account inflation since when that was released till now?
No,
right?
No,
okay.
No.
I'm not a math person, but I was just curious.
Your thoughts on the PS5 Pro? No, did it move the needle at all for you? Because unfortunately, it didn't for me. I don't feel like I needed to upgrade my PlayStation.
In fear of sounding like a hypocrite here, despite being a hardware fan, I wasn't a fan of the PS5 Pro. I didn't buy one. I was looking into it and it hit me. I didn't even have a 4K TV or monitor to take full advantage of the thing. But I had issues for a lot of reasons. Based off what I've seen, just for the people who did buy them, you can tell the difference. There is a visible difference, but the difference, in my personal opinion, just isn't worth the extra $200. I'm also not a fan of like the Apple method of nickeling and diming us for every little thing. I bought my PS5 Pro at launch. It came with the stand, both vertical and horizontal. It came with the disk drive. It's $500. Now the PS5 Pro, it's $700 plus $80 for a disk drive plus what 20 or whatever for a stand just to have both vertical and horizontal. So now I'm at $800. Just not a fan of hardware in that case. I think that the Pro also upsets me because I remember again with that launch PS5, they had 4K, 8K on the box. We never even sniffed 8K at all. We barely hit 4K on most games, and now you're trying to sell me on an upscaled 4K. I don't see what the vision is. The only thing I can kind of maybe defend it is for somebody who doesn't have a PS5 currently, is looking to maybe jump in this holiday season and you want the latest and greatest thing. But even then, man, it's just going to be really difficult because not only do you have to have this console, you got to have a TV or monitor that can take advantage of the 4K. And it just, I don't know. I see what they were trying to do, but I don't think it's going in a great direction. And sales, from what I've seen, these aren't even selling out. You can still go get one today. So
It's not how the PS5 was when it launched. Like but I want to say Sony purposely made a point to make sure they had way more PS5s out.
Yeah,
to
this
purchase.
time.
And again, I see this daily just with like working. Like, dude, people are coming into the store looking for regular five, saving up for regular five, saying I'm gonna get a five this upcoming Christmas. So how could you tell people who are saving up for $500, hey, here's a $700 model? Well, what does that do? Better graphics? Okay, I'll get this one. Like it just like Dad said, that's something for the hardcore gamers and content creators, as opposed to being something for the regular consumer. So I don't know. I could be wrong, but I don't know what that vision is.
Did that needle move for you at all, Ryan, with the PS5 Pro?
I'm on record, and I will continue to hold to this. I I am going to buy a PS5 Pro, not yet, for one reason that many people will find stupid, but so for me, it's because of Grand Theft Auto 6. And I think that's going to be, I think I won't be alone on that. Not saying that's going to be everybody by any stretch of the imagination, but I have always since GTA 3, like, real quick, there are probably, I could name 4 or 5 games in my gaming life that I would say were paradigm shifts, where I played the game and like my whole world changed about, like, whoa, I did not know a video game could do this or could deliver an experience like this. Halo 2 with the online multiplayer was one of them. Certainly the original Super Mario Brothers, which is what got me into video games in the first place. But GTA 3 was one of those games for me where I was just like, I had played it on a friend's PS2, and it was a killer app for me. I went out and bought a PlayStation 2 after that because of that game. And ever since, I've just been, to me, Grand Theft Auto games are extremely special. And as we've seen, they've also pretty much all been 10 out of 10s. They are games that raise the bar in the industry, because there's this incredible talent at Rockstar that gets put into these games. There's literally unlimited budget that gets put into Grand Theft Auto games, which is not the case for pretty much every other game. So anyway, all that is to say, I mean, I think GTA 5 for me is one of the 10 greatest games ever made, maybe even top 5. Like, it's that good to me. And so all that is a rambling preface to say GTA 6 is going to be a borderline religious experience for me personally, because
Yeah,
it's been over a decade. We got Red Dead Redemption 2 in between. Red Dead doesn't hit me the same way.
no,
But
not at all.
6 is it's just going to be such a moment for me in my gaming life, and I hope the game lives up to it. History says it will, but you never know these days, right? I mean, one of the Hausers left and Leslie Benzie's left, so who knows? But I want the best GTA 6 experience I can get, and it looks like that's going to be on a PS5 Pro, because they're not shipping a PC version at launch. And so when it gets closer, when GTA 6 gets a real release date, which this is another conversation, I don't think it's going to be next year, but when it does finally get close, if PS5 Pro is the best way to, if that's the way to get the best GTA 6 experience, I will trade in my launch day PS5 for whatever I can get at the time, and I am willing to pay hundreds of dollars in the cost difference to get just for that one game. So I know that makes me ridiculous or whatever to a lot of people, and that's okay. That's just totally I own it.
That's
Hugger. I know you love GTA. You love GTA more on the RP side, right? And
Yeah.
we know how Rockstar can be, and we don't know if GTA is going to release on PC day one. They could do the whole.
No, it's not. They've already confirmed. Yeah, it's PC it's PS5 and Xbox at launch.
So Hugger, you willing to make that jumperoo for GTA 6? Because Ryan said he all in, baby.
Girl, no. PlayStation Pro starts at $960 here. Absolutely
Canada.
not.
Canada.
You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna wait until like July, August, when mom and dad are tired of their kid playing on that their PlayStation. Maybe I'll go to the pawn shop and see what we can get. I know that sounds awful, but that pawn shop, you get me $100 PlayStation 5 because Timmy wouldn't stop playing it at 3 a.m. Give it to me. Give it to me. I just can't afford it. It's too expensive. And knowing that GTA 6, as much as I want to play it won't be ready for RP, but I cannot justify spending over $100+ just for the game, and then $1,000 plus for
Dang, when you say it out loud,
It's ridiculous.
Yeah. Just okay.
But I'm not gonna lie, for GTA,
I was super lucky to get
that's what's
sent to me, but this is $1,000 here in Canada. Like
that's what's crazy to me. that like you're like, I don't know, but $1,000 for GTA? Absolutely not. Absolutely, I would
No.
never, ever, ever
But
spend that much money. I
here's
will
like
wait.
Not
I
for
will
it.
wait for the
well,
experience. Mm-mm.
I'm in the same boat with Ryan, where GTA for me was just revolutionary, and even now when we talk about GTA, we don't even compare it to other games. We compare it to other GTAs. That's how
But
we.
my
That's how
best
we like.
experience
It's
for GTA is
it's
not on the console for me. My best
that's
experience is on
also
PC.
fair.
So
That's
Yeah.
I would
also
rather
fair. But
wait. I spent a lot of money on that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I can tell you that whatever console is out for GTA 6 is going up. So I think we're gonna see
Okay.
a surge in everything. And if they come out, like Ryan
Probably.
said, and say PS6 or PS5 Pro is the best way, I'm probably gonna do it. I'm not gonna because I've waited
It's a console
10,
shooter.
11, 12, 13, 14 years. I was what? Yeah. It was a long time ago when it last came out, 2013. I might as well make this an experience because I feel
But
like
that
it's
makes
been so
sense.
long.
Yeah, because you're a huge fan of it, right? So
Yeah.
like, and
Yeah.
the way you guys talk about it is the way I would talk about a relationship. Like, yeah, we haven't been out in a
Yeah.
while, and I just can't wait. Like, and I get that there are just some games that like bring that out of you. It's an emotional experience. It's not me trying to make fun of you or anything like that. So it's worth the money because of the experience and the connection you get with it. But I'm just saying for the average person, like I think I'm just the average person. I would never, there's no game in this world that has ever made me feel that way. And I
I
don't
would
know if that just
argue
makes me,
Hey,
if there's
I've
any
had a
game
couple of
that
games
reaches
that
the
got me.
average person, any game that reaches the average person is Grand Theft Auto. That is the most
It
popular
does.
game that everyone on this planet knows what it is,
absolutely.
and
I
that's
think
why they're
it's
charging
definitely
150
popular,
bucks. Oh yeah,
but I don't think
they'll
everybody's going to pay that.
you'll be
No.
surprised with
Really,
this one. You're gonna be
really.
Yeah, I don't think
I want to
everybody's
give
going to pay that.
I
a
think they're
major
gonna
shout
go
out to
crazy.
Slow Mo Backslap and Blaine 158. We did just hit our new membership goal for the channel. So thank you guys so much for the support and rocking with us. So with that being said, we do still have our giveaway for everyone if you type in Aviga in the chat. But now we do have a separate giveaway just for our channel members. We're giving away another Aviga headset for us hitting our goal today of new members. Thank you guys so much. Thank you, Slow Mo Backstop and Blaine for putting us over the hump. And Blaine also gifted 5 memberships on top of becoming a member himself. Shout out to you, man. I really, really appreciate it. We're gonna get those winners announced here pretty soon. But if you did not win, and if you want to check out this headset, our partners, Avid, did put a code CELEBRATE with the link that's in the description, also in the chat. You guys can get the Aviga headset for 30% off and free shipping if you use our code CELEBRATE. I want to give a big shout out to Yoda Gaming and the Ryan McCaffrey for coming out and rocking with us, man, and having and talking our console chaos. Ryan really went in this segment, and that's super appreciative. Ryan, thank you for all that you do. Podcast Unlocked has been one of my favorite podcasts of all time. Nug, keep being the greatest taco that's ever been made in the history of tacos, man, because you are great. I have such a good time at these conventions with you, man, and I cannot wait to see what you do in the console space. And back to you, Ryan, again. I cannot wait to see what you guys do with Podcast Unlocked as you guys continue to move forward, because it is the premier podcast for Xbox, and I've been rocking with it for such a long time. I just want to say thank you guys for rocking with us, honestly.
Yeah, thank you for having
Thanks
us
for
as
having us.
always.
Everybody better
Miss
be at IGN Live next year.
Yes.
Better.
Come
All
on.
go out.
I
All
will
hang
go.
out.
I'm going to
IGN
go.
Everybody better be at
Live.
IGN Live
Okay.
next year.
I'll
I'm
put it
going to be
on my
there
calendar.
for sure. Before
I'll
we
look.
transition, we do have some new guests getting ready to pop in. Before we transition, for those who missed it, we do have a special video from Lord Cognito of the Iron Lords podcast that's going to play, and then a quick word from our partners. And again, thank you to Ryan and Yona Gaming, and we'll see you guys in a few moments.
All right, and we are not live. Lord Cognito, not in the flesh, but I had to pull up Level One Gaming, the celebration 2024. Salute the fame, salute the banner, salute to the whole Level One squad. I see I got some big names on the docket, so I had to spread some love to celebrate gaming. 2024 has been amazing for me personally. You know, so many games I played and I beat this year, and I was just thinking about my Infinite Wealth, my Tekken 8, you know what I'm saying? Kunitsigami Path of the Goddess, currently Metaphor. Man, it's been so much. You know, Veilguard, I'm about to start that. And then thinking about the end of the year, you know, obviously COD was amazing for me. Black Ops, the campaign, sick. I'm thinking about Stalker coming, you know, the list goes on. There's just so many games in this year that in a year that we think, okay, last year was like the pinnacle. But this year, you know, it's going to be light. And it comes to find out we still got a lot of hits out there, man. So it's just really cool to get together. I love what you guys do in the community. I love the grind. I love the work from the media standpoint, the podcast standpoint. Level One is always outside doing their thing. And I had to spread some love to talk about gaming with some amazing content creators in the realm of Level One. So salute to y'all. Salute on this accomplishment. I love these type of discussions. Again, apologies I couldn't be there. It's the birthday week. It's the birthday week. So I might be, you know, a little, you know, fluids in the system. But I had to go through, show some love. And again, to celebrate the thing, the reason why we do this, that's what the thing people lose track of. You know, we may disagree with different opinions and points, but the reason we supposed to be together as brothers and sisters is we're supposed to be lovers of games. That's the unifier. People have to get back on track with that part. So put all the violence down, all that foolishness, get back to the game and get back to having fun and enjoying gaming, you know? And that's what it's about. So salute to again, Level One. I love this type of stuff. Love to be a part of it. And everybody enjoy your day. Peace.